Alright, gods and goddesses in training, welcome back to the channel. It is Uncle Makara, all relations. Let's get started today. Today's topic is very unique. It is how to do shadow work using your own astrology or your astrological chart, also called your natal chart. Now, first and foremost, read the disclaimer. I'm no astrology expert. I just am a peak performance shaman, so I love to use any different kinds of maps to help me to self-evolve, and of course the tribe here to evolve. We want to be the very best, okay, like Pokemon. So let's get started today. The number one thing that I think a lot of people overlook when it comes down to shadow work is it is hidden, it is subconscious, it is your blind spot. You cannot easily know what your shadow even is. However, using ChatGPT, using this model, I've understood that it can be a lot more swifter of a process for you if you start to understand the astrological significance or the behind the scenes of what this energy means about you, right? Shadow work is originally actually from Jungian psychotherapy, okay? It is this understanding that you're going to lead yourself towards something called individuation, and you do this through facing the scary parts of you, okay? The parts of you that you've disowned or rejected. Think of it like below the iceberg, right? It is something that you can explore about yourself. Now, there's the shadow and there's also the golden shadow according to our path working, okay? The golden shadow is the fear of success. The shadow is basically the fear of failure. And once you understand that there is a line between both of these, that sometimes you might also have hidden gifts and not only, hidden doubts or fears. So one of the things that I like to ask myself is, what is wrong with me? Why is this situation that I'm feeling such a bad thing? Whatever it could be, right? You could be stressing about something, you could be frustrated around some topic. Why is it so bad? What does it mean about me as a character? And once you start exploring that, you start actually digging into your own psyche, your own subconscious mind, and you will get a lot of answers that come through. And eventually you will get to what we call a core belief, a very, very deep in the psyche limiting belief about yourself. However, we're going to use astrology, so this is going to be a very interesting process. So what I want you to do is, first of all, if you have your natal chart, that's great. If you don't, you just tell ChatGPT, this is my birth time, this is my birth date, and just get it to reproduce a natal chart for you. And then from there, you want to look at three things, okay? Number one is on your chart, you want to find where is your Chiron, okay? Chiron is also known as the wounded healer, and it's usually where your past life wounds have accumulated through this archetype. So start to understand where your Chiron is, because that's showing you essentially where the root of your shadow is. The wound that you're really struggling with is usually found there, okay? Then you want to look at your south node and your north node. It's almost like, I think of it like the south node is where you're coming from and the north node is where you're going, how your life would be if you were to double down on that. Now, I think you should lead a life in between your north and south node. If you get lopsided more towards one than the other, it's going to start to skew you in a various direction. So I'll give you an example, guys, okay? So with my own astrology. So my Chiron in Virgo points to wounds related to like self-criticism and perfectionism. Healing comes from embracing those and finding self-acceptance. My north node is, let's say, in Sagittarius, so that points me towards a life path seeking truth, adventure, expanding my horizons. But my south node is in Gemini, so that's like I have a tendency towards gathering information and engaging in communication. I have to blend both of these together, and I have to move from a superficial knowledge to a more deeper understanding. And that's kind of my path, because my path is about mastering intensity, surrendering control, trusting wisdom over knowledge, and allowing imperfection to be a part of my power. So yes, these shadows are very powerful because they contain my greatest gifts once they are integrated. Let's say you have a challenge of letting go of control. First of all, instead of forcing transformation, you learn to embody it. I would then guide people to go into the raw primal depths of flow where fear dissolves, and teach others that true mastery comes from surrender, not control. So my understanding of ego death is at a high level, and I've lived through it. So now I can lead others through their own rebirths by facing something internally myself. One of my shadows is in fantasy-based escapism. So now I have to understand that this also gives me a direct access to my subconscious and dream realms. So that means when I help people dissolve mental resistance through these altered states of consciousness, energy work, breath work, shadow work, it's a portal into something greater, right? So it helps me to tap into the unseen, to be able to have this direct access to these unconscious realms and these archetypes and all these symbols and so forth. So it helps my career moving forward. What's another one of my shadows? Impulsiveness, okay? Impulsiveness and reactivity. I've noticed that within myself. However, it's a good leadership quality to be bold and move forward and try things in a different way. So I see both the strength and the weakness in the shadow, right? I see the shadow and the golden shadow. I'm not just zooming into one and forgetting about the other. You're going to have to see both sides of the coin of your shadow, right? Like, let's say you are struggling with information overload, right? Seeing so many patterns across systems. That's actually a strength if you think about it, to connect the dots, to see patterns. However, if your mind gets super scattered and it's taking away from your life, then it's not so much about teaching more techniques, it's about teaching universal flow principles that apply to every area of life, right? So I will now help people go beyond theory and live in that gnosis, live in that direct experience. So through understanding this astrology, it is now helping me to reflect on my own world, my own worldview, my health, my wealth, my relationships, and it's giving me a map, right, in order for me to move forward and heal. And you can even ask it. Nowadays, you can just ask ChatGPT, like, what should I do to heal this? Or how do I work towards healing these shadows of mine, okay? So really, really powerful and key. And I've just begun this process today. And I got this download today after the herb run channeling yesterday. So herb run was a Lyran Council being that we connected with because specifically for the snow moon of Leo that happened last night. And yeah, this is a very powerful energy that I'm picking up, this sunlight yang energy that I'm picking up, feeling really connected, dominant, masculine in my leadership flow. So yeah, it's going well. I think I'm gonna heal this week fully and get started again, building up some momentum and getting my body moving again, because I haven't been really moving my body that much recently. But yeah, guys, having said that, if you have any other questions about shadow work, you can just shoot me a message and I will have a look. Of course, there's certain topics that cannot be mentioned here, so if you are an adept, if it's too private, just send it to me privately. But if not, you can just say it in the adepts group, or I'll even take questions from the main group of the Telegram, okay, if you join there. Yeah, guys, hope you have an incredible rest of your day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. You got this, we got this. Upward Spiral gang. Yeah, let's go. Try this out today, okay? It's gonna be cool. Boom.